measuring 0 degrees. Wow. I got to see this. So, folks, climate change is happening, and HAARP created it. To press for a Democratic victory in the Senate and the House, we're all supposed to be worried that HAARP is somehow going to destroy, or rather, global climate change is somehow going to destroy the world. So no one in the mainstream media is talking about HAARP's influence on this, but we are looking at the coldest temperatures almost in history in the Southeast right now. And we saw this coming 7 days ago. I ran a story on our show last week talking about how there was a unnatural amount of cold energy and weather in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and now it's migrated to the Southeast. It does not surprise me that this is their plan to create global climate change. And can you imagine such a fascist plan as this, Meow TV? Can you imagine our country falling into the hands of these democratic fascists? Thank you. My Google Plus account, sure, is, I believe it's at Cool Rock Party, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. It's America's Third Party is America's Third Party's Google Plus. I've got a couple of Google Plus accounts. I've got a David John Sponheim one and an America's Third Party one. People will say it's cool as the earth too. Well, I'm good with the idea that the earth is actually able to respond to these problems in ways that they can't predict. And I don't necessarily believe that they even knew that the cold weather was coming, but that might have been part of the configuration. They've got ways of looking at this entire program. Giraffe Brain just sent us a link to RT, and they're tracking this thing. Research Center or Weather Weapon. U.S. military is shutting down HAARP. Well, they've been saying they've been shutting down HAARP for a couple of years now, but somebody told me a Canadian concern bought it. But there's a couple more HAARPs out there. There's quite a few stations now around the world. There's one in Brazil. There's one around. They're all over the place. So they're able to triangulate this energy pattern, which you can clearly see by the antennas, has a tremendous potential for harmonic electromagnetic stimulation of the ionosphere. And that means that they can send waves that get more and more intense as time goes on, which can create ultimately, when triangulated, can ultimately create an earthquake. It's possible. You love the new blackface video. Hannah, thank you. Thank you for coming in. Yeah, it's a 3.5-minute music video that I thought I'd put out there. You guys are welcome to promote it and, you know, send it to your friends if you think it's cool. You know, pulling up old links about things really doesn't verify anything. We are seeing global climate change. Yeah, isn't it? Here's an interesting point. This Democrat, Von Trapp, comes in the show and puts out a sign that says climate.nsa.gov.evidence showing that there is climate change. Vital signs are showing climate change. Yes, there is climate change, dude. And it's made by a HAARP. It's not happening naturally. They're poisoning the skies right now with chemicals all over the world. This isn't something I'm fabricating. Especially in America, we're seeing this pattern. And it can reverberate throughout the rest of the world. I mean, I have to play my old chemtrail video for all of you to see, because it's probably the best shots they've ever made of chemtrails being deployed in the atmosphere. They're creating the global climate change. We don't have a discussion about global climate change. We all know that something's going on. It's obvious. It's not like the Democrats have the control over this issue. But they'd like to think that they do, and they'd like to promote the concept of climate change legislation, cap and trade legislation. Yeah, the world has cycles. Things happen. Django 2, Sponheim Unchained. I'm rebuilding the Blackface 2 video. I put it out for 8 hours last night, and for those of you lucky enough to see it, it had all kinds of dead spots in it. I said, you know, I'm going to re-edit this thing and make it all good stuff. And I'm bringing it out again as a tighter video, much tighter, maybe under 30 minutes. But thank you very much for subscribing to America's Third Party and tweeting with us at Third Party. So you can see from this video that this is truly going on in the air above our home here in the Pacific Northwest. We're seeing a lot of it. They're seeing a lot of it in Virginia. One guy recorded 50 planes at one time delivering chemtrails over his house. Well, the government controls the weather through this program called HARP behind me. And by deploying these chemtrails, your DJ bad boy, by deploying these chemtrails overhead, they seed the clouds with aluminum and barium and other dangerous chemicals that react to electromagnetic stimulation. That's the best way to describe it. And what happens is the oxygen tends to become rich in H2O. The air above you is water. Extract water to the size of the country.